Hi, please join me for lesson 5.3c by taking out your notes. The goal today is I can determine the equation of a line giving a slope and points. In your notes today, we're going to be looking at the graphing portion of lesson 5.3c as well as examples 1 through 4. Before we begin, let's just revisit our goal. I will be giving you either a slope and a point, or I will be giving you 2 points. And based on that information, you need to be able to write the equation of the line. That's the goal. So please find this sheet in your notes and have it ready. We are going to begin by graphing each one of these problems, and then I'm going to show you how to solve each one of them algebraically. Let's begin. Here's number 1. In this case, I'm giving you a point and a slope. And I'm wondering what equation passes through this particular point, -310, and has a slope of -4. It's always easy to do this with graphing because it gives us a visual of what's going on. So if we know that the line goes through this point, -310, let's begin by graphing that point. -310. Go ahead and do that with me. All right, my line has to go through that point, but the line could go any which way, right? We know that the slope has to be -4. So we can make some additional points using that slope. We're going to begin at the point we already made. Now, I know that -4 is really 4 over 1. So our rise is 4, our run is 1. But if I rise 4, I'm off the graph. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to fall 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to run 1 to the right, because remember, I'm doing the opposite. And I'm going to do it again. Fall 4, 2, 3, 4, and 1 to the right. Fall 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 to the right. All right, now you're going to see that I have a line here that goes through the point -310, and it has a slope of -4, right? Rise 4, run 1, rise 4, run 1. Okay, so my line has both of these parts. Now we're asked for the equation. So all I need to write the linear equation is a slope and a y-intercept. And I have both of those parts. So even if you want to begin by just putting in your boxes, you can, and then just fill them in. We know that the slope is -4 because it told us that slope was -4, right? But now let's just look at our graph and figure out the y-intercept. You see that that y-intercept is down here at -2. So that would be the y-intercept there at -2. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. I want to simplify it. I don't want a plus minus in there. So y equals -4x minus 2. That is the equation of the line that we just graphed. Okay, so that this linear equation goes through that point and has that slope. Okay, so pretty easy on a graph. Let's try the next one. Same thing. This time I'm giving you a point and a slope, and I want you to write the equation of the line that goes through that point with that slope. So let's begin the same way we did before. We're going to graph this point because we know that this point is on the line. So let's make that point -6 up 4. There we go. There's the point. Okay, so we know the line has to go through this point, but it has to have a slope of -1/3. So we're going to make some additional points using that slope. So start right here. Rise is 1, run is 3. Rise 1, but I'm going to run 3 to the left because it's a negative slope, so I run left. I'm going to fall 1 and 3 to the right. Fall 1, 3 to the right, and I can continue that pattern. You see how I'm going to get a nice falling negative slope here? Okay, so my criteria was that it had to go through -6, 4, and it did, and it has to have a -1/3 slope, and it does. See my slope of -1/3? Okay, so let's write the equation of the line. If you want to use your boxes, you can to get started. So that we were given the slope of -1/3. That's a given. Now, what about the intercept? Looks like the intercept here is at +2. So I put that part in there also. So I'm just going to rewrite my equation, and it's y equals -1/3 x plus 2, and I'm going to circle that. That's the equation of the line that goes through that point and has that slope. See, really nice and easy to do when you have a visual. Now, the second part of the goal was to write the equation that goes through 2 points. So if I give you 2 points, what's the equation of the line? Okay, well, if we only need 2 points to make a line, so if I graph those 2 points, I could connect them and make a line. Let's do that. So I'm going to go over 2 up 1. That's the first point, 2, 1. And then my second point here is 5, -8. So I'm going to go to the right 5 and down -8. The numbers on the graph are nice here. Now, if I just connect these 2 points, I'm going to have my line. However, I want to be sure that it's perfectly straight, because to write the equation, I need to know the y-intercept. I need to know the exact place that this crosses the y-axis. So if I connect these 2 points, see, I'm just going to kind of lightly connect them. I'm not sure how perfect my line is here. I mean, it's looking pretty perfect because I'm pretty perfect, right? But I'm just going to quick find the slope here. I'm going to find the slope between these 2 points. I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I run 1, 2, 3. So my slope here is 9/3, and it's negative. That means it's -3 or -3/1. So if I take this point and I rise up 3 and run 1 to the left, I'll land on the line. Up 3, 1 to the left, up 3, 1 to the left. I'm going to keep going. Up 3, 1 to the left, up 3, 1 to the left. There we go. Now I have the exact y-intercept. You see what I did there? Now I can see that that y-intercept is at 7. That's a little bit better. I just didn't want to start drawing the line and not get it perfect, because I want to be sure I have that correct y-intercept. So I'm going to write y equals box x plus box. Okay, so what do we have for the slope? Well, we just figured that out. That was -3, right? Up 3, left 1, up 3, left 1, so -3. And then the y-intercept, that was at 7. So the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points is y equals -3x plus 7. There it is. See? Not bad. Remember, the only 2 things you need for an equation are just the slope and the intercept. And if you can find them, you're good to go. Okay, last one. Let's see if you can try this one. Again, we want the equation that goes through these 2 points. So if I graph the 2 points, connect them, I can find the line. -2, 4, and 4, 1. Over 4, up 1. Okay. Now, this one's a little bit easier because if you actually, connect them, and if I had a straight edge, I think I actually do have a straight edge here. Um, it's really going to be easy to see what the intercept is. Whoop, I kind of got off on my line there. But you can see the intercept right here at 3. I could find the slope if I look. I rise 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3/6, and it's negative e and -1/2. You can see that up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. Right? So I've got this point, -2, 4, and this point, 4, 1. Those are my 2 given points, and I have my line going through there. So now I'm pretty much able to write the equation from what I have here, because remember, the only 2 things I need is the slope, which I know is -1/2, and then the intercept, which is here at +3. So I've got those 2 parts, and now I could rewrite this as y equals -1/2 x plus 3 is the equation of the line that goes through these 2 given points. See, not that bad, right? It wasn't that bad. It's actually kind of fun. Okay, now, how would you do this if you didn't have graph paper? Because I just did this with graph paper. What would I do if I didn't have any graph paper? That's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to use algebra. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is to take a look at the next page in your notes, and you're going to see numbers 1 and 2. And again, we have the same goal here. I can determine the equation of a line given the slope and the points. Now, we just did number 1, right, with the graph. And do you see how number 1 is the exact same thing as this number 1? Okay, so we already know what the answer should be because we did it with the graph. But if you do not have a graph, which you need to be able to do this with algebra without a graph, how would we do that? So our goal is to end up with the same answer because it's the same question. But we're going to do it with just algebra. Okay, so this is important that you write these steps down in your notes. All right, so we're looking for the equation, and our equation is going to be y equals mx plus b. And we know these 2 things. All right, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is just write down a blank equation, and we're just going to fill in the missing parts, okay? So what do I know from the given information? Well, we know that the slope, whoops, is -4, and I know that that goes right here. So I'm just going to put that right in, okay? But what I don't know is the y-intercept. Well, what other information do I have? I have the slope, I have a point, right? Do you see that? I have a point. I know that it goes through this, the line goes through that point. So this point is a solution along the line of this equation. Well, do you see that the equation has an x and a y in it? Yeah, this x and y are all the points that are solutions along the line. So if negative 310 is a solution, I should be able to plug negative 310 in here for x and y and solve the equation for b. Whoa, right? Let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to be solving an equation. I'm going to put a line down the equal sign. The y-coordinate of the point is 10, so I'm going to replace y with a 10. Then I've got negative 4, and you see how this is being multiplied? I'm going to put multiplied by x. The x-coordinate is negative 3 plus box. This is the b. That's what we're solving for. We're solving for the intercept. Now I have an equation. Do you see how the only variable is b? All right, let's solve it. Well, if I multiply, this is going to be 12 plus b. And then if I want to get b by itself, I take away the 12. Negative 2 equals b. I've solved it. So I now know that b is negative 2. So that means that the equation of this line is y equals negative 4x minus 2. Ah, okay, now let's check something out here. Remember we did the same problem with the graph? Look what we got. Y equals negative 4x minus 2. See, how cool is that? We did it on the graph, but we don't need a graph. We can do it with algebra. And this is what you need to be able to do. It's always nice to do the graph first, just so you guys can see how this works. Okay, so here let's try it again with number 2. Now remember number 2, we have the same question. Okay, we already figured this out, right? We already figured out the equation of the line. Let's see if our algebra can get us the exact same answer. All right, so I want the equation. I'm going to begin with a blank equation. You guys, this is so important to begin with a blank equation and fill in what you know. It really is helpful. Gives you a place to start. So what do I know? I know that the slope is negative 1/3. So I'm going to plug that in here. Negative 1/3. But what I don't know is the b. That's what I don't know. So ask yourself, what information do you have? We know a point, we know a solution. So we're going to use that point and plug it into the equation. All right, y is 4. Negative 1/3. Remember, this is multiply. Multiply. X is negative 6 plus b in the box, solving for b, the intercept. Okay, so this right here, I got negative times negative, which is positive. 1/3 times 6 or 1/3 of 6, I could even, multiply them out like fractions, but 1/3 of 6 is just 2. Be sure you're showing all steps. Now, to get the b by itself, I simply take away the 2 and I get 2 equals b. So that means that the intercept is 2. So I am getting the equation down in the box here. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. There's the equation. Well, let's go back to number 2 before. Do you see how we had gotten the same equation? Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2 with the graph, and we get it with the algebra also. This is algebra, solving an equation. Okay, let's try 3. Remember, 3 and 4 are different. Here I'm giving you 2 points. You need to be able to write the equation of the line when you have 2 points. So we did this one before. I'm trying to find it. Okay, remember we did the same problem before, only we did it with the graph paper, and see what happened here. This is what we got. We should be getting the same answer with algebra, okay? So I'm going to begin with a blank equation. And then you ask yourself, what information are you given? Are you given the slope or the intercept? No, we're not. We're given nothing. Oh, well, with the information we are given, with the 2 points that we are given, which one of these could we easily find? I hope you're thinking slope. Absolutely. You can find the slope because you learned that you can use the slope equation to find the slope. Remember, that's change in y over change in x. That is the equation for slope. So all I have to do is use that here. So I'm going to go, all right, i's on my y's. I'm going to subtract 1 minus negative 8 and then 2 minus 5. So this is going to give me a plus. This is 9. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. And 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So that's my slope. I'm going to put that right here. Okay. Now, I don't have the intercept, but I can solve for the intercept. How? Well, do I know a point along the line? Yes, I know 2 points along the line. So I could take either of these points and plug it in for x and y. Either one will work because they're both solutions. They're both points on the line. I would grab whichever one's easier. Do you see this one, 2, 1? They're both positive numbers. I'd say maybe this is easier. So let's plug that in. Y is 1 times, that's times, x is 2. I'm just pulling that straight. I got to take both the x and y coordinate from the same point. I can't use one from one point and one from the other. They got to be from the same point. And then plus b in the box. Okay, so now when I multiply, I get -6 plus b in the box. All right, to get b by itself, I have to add the 6 to both sides, and I get b is equal to 1 plus 6, which is 7. Ooh, okay, so that tells me that the y-intercept here is 7. Okay, see where I put that? B is 7. I put it in the B spot. So the equation I can write below in the box here is y equals -3x plus 7. That's the equation of the line. Well, hey, check it out. That's what we got before when we did number 3, right? We got -3x plus 7, and we get it again using algebra. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh. I wish I could see your face right now. You're thinking this is the coolest thing you've ever seen. I know it. Okay, number 4. Let's try it again. See if we got this. Okay, what equation? So we know our equation is going to be in slope-intercept form. I'm going to begin by writing that out. I have to have a place to start. Then you ask yourself, do we know either one of these with the given information? Answer's no. But what could you find? Yeah, you could find your slope pretty easily, couldn't you? Okay, because you know that you can use these 2 points to find slope. So eyes on your y's, let's subtract 4 minus 1, -2 minus 4. I get 3, and then I get -6, which simplifies to -1/2. So that's the slope. Okay, once I have the slope, I put that in here. You want to be sure that your slope is correct, because if you have the wrong slope and then you put in a point, you're going to get the wrong intercept because you had the wrong slope. So you want to be careful with that slope. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in a point. It doesn't matter which point. Go for the easier one. I'm thinking this is easier because these are both positive numbers, 4 and 1. Okay, so y is 1. Remember, that's multiply. Multiply by x. X is 4 plus b in the box. Okay, so let's solve here. -1/2 times 4. That's -1/2 of 4 is 2. Okay, really important to show your work. Kids try to do this in their head and then they make mistakes, so don't do that. We get 3. All right, so there's 3. There's my intercept. Woo, sweet. Okay, so let's just recopy it down in the box. Y equals -1/2 x plus 3. That's the equation of the line. Now let's check. This is what we got before when we did 4. We got -1/2 x plus 3, and we still get -1/2 x plus 3. Say, I like to start out with the graphing so you guys can see a visual of what's happening, but then it's so cool how we use the algebra and we're able to get the same exact answer. Huh? Pretty sweet. All right. Well, hopefully that made sense to you and you are ready to give this a try. Thank you so much for joining me for the lesson. Have a great day.